Hi, my name's George Grijalva, and I'm an upholstery cleaner just like you. And this is my Upholstery Cleaning DVD Part 1. I remember my first upholstery cleaning like it was yesterday. I just finished my IICRC upholstery cleaning class, and I said, hey, I gotta put this into action. So my first customer, I said, do you have any upholstery I could clean? She said, I have this one piece downstairs, and the last carpet cleaner that was here said it could never be cleaned. I said, let's take a look at it. So she took me down in the family room, and it wasn't even very dirty, and I did all my tests, and I said, it's Haitian cotton. I can clean it. She said, you can? I said, sure I can. She was so excited. The other thing that I noticed when I was down there, she had all these throw rugs all over the carpet. I said, what's up with all these throw rugs? She said, well, whenever we would get a stain in the family room from my kids, we would just put a throw rug over it. I go, are you kidding? She said, no, isn't that ridiculous? I said, yeah. So I started picking up all these throw rugs. She must have had about 20 of them down there covering the entire family room. I said, I can clean these throw rugs. You'll never have to do this again. I'll clean this carpet. I'll get all these stains out. And whenever you need anything clean, you just call me. She says, that sounds great. Now, remember, when I'm doing these jobs that you're going to see, these are all 100% real jobs. No classroom stage situations. So I didn't know the outcome. When you're cleaning upholstery, you got to give the customer a reason why to clean the upholstery. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to do a white towel test. This is one of my customers, and I'm going to show her exactly how to do the white towel test. This is a lazy boy that's been in her living room for probably about 6 years. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a white towel. I'm going to take my extraction hose. So you're going to have to fire up your machine, make sure your hose is extracting. And be really careful when you're putting this white towel over the hose because it will suck it right into your wastebasket. And if it does get sucked in, let it go all the way to your wastebasket. Don't try to stop it in the middle because otherwise you'll have to cut your hose to get the towel out of the middle of your extraction hose. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to do extraction strokes with the white towel. And I've doubled up that towel so it can collect a lot of soil. And I'm going to do extraction strokes on the seat of the chair, on the arms of the chair, and then I'm going to do it on the back of the chair. These are the areas where body oil collects, and this hasn't been cleaned ever professionally. We're going to be able to show this customer how much soil we collected, and a lot of times when you show the customer the white towel test, I mean, look at that, that's disgusting. When you show them this, they're going to be willing to get their upholstery either power vacked or their upholstery cleaned. Now explain to the customer what power vacuum is. You're going to use your truck mount machine, which has a much larger motor than their vacuum cleaner, and you're going to vacuum their upholstery. And you're going to remove a large percentage of dust mites, airborne pollutants out of their upholstery and freshen it up. Or you could pre-vacuum their upholstery, pre-spray their upholstery with an upholstery pre-spray, and then hot water extract it at 230 degrees. If you give them one of these options, they'll normally pick one. Now let's clean some upholstery. We're going to start off really simple first. So the easiest upholstery to clean is synthetic upholstery. Now remember, when it's synthetic, you can clean it. You're going to need some cool tools too. You can get a pair of tweezers. I like these giant tweezers that I got at a candle shop. And you're going to need some kind of little bowl. I like to use a little stainless steel bowl so when I'm doing my burn test, it'll catch any of the ash or plastic that melts off the fiber. Now take a look at this upholstery. I think you're going to learn a lot. The most important thing whenever you're doing upholstery is your pre-inspection. You want to open up the zippers and make sure there's no manufacturer code that's been written in a marker that's going to bleed through the upholstery. If there is, you can do a test on it and make sure that it's permanent. If it comes off on your test, you're going to want to make sure you don't get any moisture on the fabric in this area because it will bleed through. This one looks good. It checks out. Sometimes you're going to have those codes on the seat of the cushion, so you have to do a little bit deeper inspection. Now another thing you want to point out to the customer if there's any pre-existing damage to the upholstery, because you don't want to get done with the job and have the customer blaming that on you. This is especially important if the upholstery is older and it's in a window area where it gets a lot of sunlight. Trim off an extra piece of fabric. Be careful not to do it along the stitching. Now let's do a burn test to determine what kind of material that we're dealing with. If it's synthetic, it's going to smell just like plastic. And another way to determine whether it's synthetic is just to grab the ash and roll it around in your fingers, and if it turns out to be a hard ball, that's how you're going to know it's synthetic. Before we get started with our hot water extraction, let's remove all the loose soil by pre-vacuuming. Your next step is the bottom of the sofa always has a fabric that is 100% cotton that will leave little brown water spots. So what you do is you mist and extract these areas so that when it dries evenly. This is a really good way to show the customer you're a true professional. Now you can tell by looking at this upholstery that it's not very dirty. You want to know when to use a pre-spray and when to use heavy cleaners, but in this situation these people are very clean. So because it's synthetic, I can just use my heat wave that's in my truck mount and I can do a deep cleaning on the upholstery this way without damaging anything. I'm using heat wave because during my pre-inspection I found that this fabric was color fast. Now just follow my system step by step and have fun with this. Don't be intimidated by upholstery. Just make sure that whenever you're cleaning upholstery that you're doing a great job. You're paying attention to the details and you're doing a really strong flushing and extraction stroke and you're doing strong dry strokes. And when you get to an area that's heavily soiled, make sure you flush it out thoroughly. That's very important. Just remember when it comes to synthetic upholstery, it's very forgiving and you can flush it out thoroughly. Just promise me you'll do strong dry strokes. My dad always said when you do something, do it right the first time, because when are you going to have time to come back and do it again? So I always make sure that I dot every I and cross every T, and when you're cleaning upholstery, you want to do a thorough job. So you also want to clean the sides of the cushion, the front of the cushion, and you want to pay attention to your material and what you're dealing with. Where it's heavily soiled, you want to clean it more thoroughly. Where it's not, you can do a mist and extract. And sometimes on the sides, because you have no human contact, you can just do a dry vac like I'm doing here. You just want to pay attention and give the upholstery the required cleaning that it needs. Now I love this stroke. It's the over the back up and down stroke. Now remember, whenever you're cleaning upholstery, you want to make sure that you're overlapping your extraction strokes. Otherwise, you'll end up with dirt lines. You also want to overlap your dry strokes. By following these steps, you're going to help to eliminate callbacks. Now whenever you're cleaning, you don't want to miss any areas. Some areas aren't as dirty as other parts of the upholstery. So in these situations, you can either mist and extract. Sometimes you can get away with just vacuuming. It really depends on the upholstery and how clean it is. But you make sure that you're really hitting the areas where the body touches. Like the legs in the front of the upholstery are very important to extract heavily. The arms, where people put their arms and their hands, the back, the seat area. Wherever you're going to have a lot of contact with the human body, you want to make sure that you're deep cleaning in those areas. Where the human body doesn't touch, you can usually mist or extract or just, vacuum in those areas. It just depends. Just make sure you're doing whatever it takes to make sure the job turns out awesome. When I say mist and extract, this is what I'm talking about. The back of the upholstery, no body oils ever get on it unless it's like in a family room and they got tons of kids. You just got to use your judgment in that situation. But here it's just the son and he takes care of his mother. They don't have any kids. You can mist and extract the back of the upholstery and you're still doing a great job. It just doesn't need to have that deep cleaning. That way you can move along this job fairly quickly. Now if you really want to take it to the next level, I recommend an IICRC upholstery cleaning class. Get certified in upholstery cleaning, plus then you get a patch to put on your uniform to show the customer that you really know what you're doing. Great job! Now let's stack our pillows zipper side up so we don't get any rust on the deck of the upholstery. Now if for any reason the deck of your upholstery is not color fast, you want to make sure you put a piece of plastic down. Now stacking our pillows is going to help with better drying and it's going to tell the customer you really care. Now on the rest of the jobs that are coming up, I've already done all my pre-inspections and have determined what kind of material that I'm dealing with and which technique to use. I've just left those parts out. So we're just going to move on to the cleaning. After my pre-inspection, I determined that this upholstery is 100% synthetic. So let's do a thorough pre-vacuum before we do any kind of hot water extraction. So the process I decided to use is what we call a mist and extract. So I'm misting the upholstery and then I'm extracting it with a dry stroke. This piece of upholstery is brand new. It was just delivered about 3 weeks ago. The customer complained to the contractor because they had to have some more work done on their new home that there's construction dust throughout. So what they wanted is they wanted to have this piece cleaned. Our mission is to save the day. We want the customer happy and we want the contractor to use us again. So using a process that would over-wet this upholstery could risk the chance of having secondary damage. We want to avoid that, so this is the best process for this situation, a mist and extract. The secret to upholstery cleaning is to determine the level of soiling. Once you've determined that, is to use the right process. Now you might be asking yourself, how do I do that? You can do the white towel test, and that will help you determine the level of soiling. I recommend that you use the mist and extract process only when there's light soiling or the potential for color migration. Never miss the opportunity to do a great stack job. When the customer walks in the door, this gives them a great feeling that you've done exceptional work. You can also take it to the next level by putting butcher paper underneath your cushions that you stack, or even plastic. Remember to keep your zippers up because you'll have that occasional zipper that's metal and it can leave rust behind. You don't want to cause any secondary damage. You want to make sure that the customer knows that they have hired a true professional. This is a really simple material to clean. It's called microfiber. When you first look at it, you might think it's really expensive and you're unsure if you want to touch it, but it's 100% synthetic, so it's really easy to clean. Our first step is to remove any of the loose soil by dry vacuuming. Then you want to adjust your upholstery tool to have a reduced extraction flow. With this fabric, I'm not going to need a pre-spray. My heat wave is really going to deep clean this. And you can tell by looking at this upholstery, it's not that dirty. It's fairly new. So I'm hitting it pretty heavily. You can use your fingernail or your bone scraper if there's any food on the upholstery. Sometimes I'll use my scissors. Just be really careful not to cut through the fabric. And when you're doing your extraction strokes, make sure you're overlapping them. And you can see I'm really doing a nice deep cleaning on this. Now let's do really strong dry strokes. We want to make sure that we don't leave the fabric too wet. Once you've done that, you want to rub the nap in the same direction so when it dries, it'll turn out really nice. You want to also rub out any of the stroke marks that the head of your upholstery tool made, because if you don't, you'll probably get a callback and you'll have to steam those out. Now don't miss these easy add-ons that took about 30 seconds.
Now what's the number one rule to remember when it comes to synthetic upholstery? That's right, if it's synthetic, you can clean it. Now let's move on to cotton upholstery. Cotton upholstery is simple to clean too. You just got to always make sure that you're doing your pre-inspection. You want to do your burn test and determine that it's cotton. You want to do your shrinkage test, make sure it's not going to shrink on you. You want to do your color migration test to make sure it's not going to bleed. You want to do a full inspection on this upholstery, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step. Now if it's cotton upholstery and it's lightly soiled, this is the method that you want to use.
Now let's do our upholstery pre-inspection. You're going to want to do this with each cushion. So unzip it and let's see if there's any manufacturer codes. Now that we've discovered a manufacturer code, you're going to want to test to make sure that it's a permanent marker. Look on the top of the cushion and the bottom of the cushion because sometimes they put a manufacturer code there as well. We don't want this to transfer through to the upholstery. So how you can avoid that is to vacuum the back of this using no moisture. Now we need a small strip of fabric to do a burn test. You can get this either inside the cushion cover or off of the back skirting. Now let's do a burn test to determine whether this is synthetic or natural. If it smells like burnt paper, then it's going to be cotton, rayon, or linen. Once the ash cools, take it between your fingers, and if it is a crumbly ash, it's 100% natural. If you have a soft crumbly ash and synthetic beads, then you have a blend, and I would recommend that you clean it as though it was a natural material. In this case, it's 100% cellulose. Now take some of the solution that you're going to clean the upholstery with and apply it onto the skirting. Take a dry towel, clamp it on, and come back in 10 minutes to see if we have any color migration. Now we're going to do a shrinkage test. You don't have to do this if the upholstery is synthetic, so you want to do your burn test first. The only time you want to do this is when it's a natural material. To give precise distance, you want to take a foil tab and take push pins and mark every corner. Now wet the area with an all-fiber rinse. This will not cause any bleeding. Check back in 10 minutes. That gives you time to go and get other things prepared that you're going to need. Then when you come back, if it's still wet, you can use a hair dryer to help it dry. You want to make sure that this upholstery is not going to shrink on you. Before we begin cleaning, let's check our color migration tests. There's no color transfer. Now let's go and check our shrinkage test. We have a perfect match. The foil tab matches up with the push pins in each corner. If for any reason they didn't, and you had a shrinkage issue, then I would use an upholstery foam cleaner. Moving ahead, let's remove all the loose soil by pre-vacuuming. I'm really excited to show you how to clean a piece of upholstery like this. So when you come across a floral design, you're going to have the confidence that you can clean it. Just remember to do all your pre-inspections first. Now let's mist it with an upholstery pre-spray. This is going to help to loosen any of the oily soil. The reason I chose to use the pre-spray is because this piece of furniture has been in the living room for over 8 years. The customer told me that this room was hardly used, so this piece of furniture is going to fit into our lightly soiled category. After you've done the pre-spray, hook up your equipment and let's get ready to hot water extract. For this sofa, we're going to use the mist and extract approach. It's lightly soiled and hardly anyone uses this room, so there's really no reason to over-wet. We have a lot of colors and a floral print, and we don't want to damage this piece in any way. Because we've done our color migration test, we really don't have to worry about any kind of bleeding. We like to call it color migration. So we could actually do a deep cleaning on this upholstery if it was really filthy. But because this piece is in the living room, like I said, and it's lightly soiled, this is a great technique to use. Now, if this had medium soiling or heavy soiling, I would never use this technique. I would go a little bit deeper and thorough on my extraction. But if you were here with me, you would see this piece, even though it's been in this room for 8 years, it still looks brand new. Upholstery cleaning is really simple if you use the right technique for the right job. In this case, because I'm using the mist and extract approach, this is only going to probably take about 20 minutes to complete this entire Davenport. The thing that I want you to learn the most out of this video is that you have pieces in the living room that need to be perked up and freshened up and bring the color back to life. And using the mist and extract approach, even though nobody uses that room, you don't want to miss out on these easy add-ons. You don't always have to be cleaning really filthy things in order to get work. So make sure that you communicate with the customer that you can actually clean those pieces in their living room because they don't think anybody can. So I'm misting and extracting, misting and extracting. I'm doing a thorough job, it's just really simple. The other thing is that a lot of times homeowners, they spend more money on their furniture in the living room, so they really don't even want anybody touching it because they're afraid they're going to ruin it. Well, with this particular approach, can you see that you're not going to damage anything? Now let's say you did the color migration test and the upholstery actually showed that it was a bleeder. And you looked at the towel, the white towel that you clamped onto the skirting, and it actually had color on it. If you did this exact process, minus the pre-spray, you're not going to get any bleeding whatsoever, and you're going to come across to that customer as a true professional. The mist and extract is a great technique to use in the right situation. Don't forget the skirting. To make sure nothing goes wrong, I would make sure that I'm extracting this with PROCHEM's all-fiber rinse or all-fiber deep clean. Now once you get to the skirting, you can still do the same misting and extracting, and if you want to take it to the next level, I would use push pins in the corners to make sure that your skirting is nice and straight when it dries. Now this is probably one of your most important steps. This will separate you from a beginner to an advanced upholstery cleaner. You want to make sure that you mist and extract the bottom of the sofa because they usually use a cotton piece of fabric that will brown out. Make sure you evenly cover it with the mist and extract it thoroughly so that way when it dries, you're not going to have any browning. Now, as you can see, I'm not doing anything too complicated. This is not brain surgery. I'm just misting and extracting. As long as you've done those pre-inspection tests properly, you're not going to run into any trouble. The second you think that you can clean a piece of upholstery like this without doing those tests, that's when you're going to run into trouble. The point I'm trying to make is don't cut corners. Especially since you're going to normally charge more for the living room furniture than you would the family room furniture, because the living room furniture is usually more valuable and most of your competitors will never touch it, so you want to price these pieces accordingly. If you're not certified by the IICRC in upholstery cleaning, I would highly recommend that you take that class. The combination of this DVD and that course is going to take you to the next level as an upholstery cleaner. The secret to cleaning furniture is to give the customer 100%. You want to clean the arms, you want to clean the sides of the arms, the edges. You want to make sure that you're just covering the entire piece of furniture with your cleaning. This is going to make sure that when it dries evenly and you don't have any browning. You also want to clean the back of the upholstery as well. When you do a good job for the customer, they're going to recommend you to their family and friends, and your company is going to get a reputation for being a really quality company that gives good service. Plus, you as a technician are going to get asked for by name from the customers, and that's going to give you job security. For your final step, you can apply upholstery protector. This helps resist soil. Communicate to the customer that this is an extra charge. Every company is different, but we pay our technicians a bonus for upsells. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stack their cushions. This is going to help out with the drying process, and it's a really professional way to show the customer that you care and that you did a great job cleaning their upholstery. Remember to keep the zippers up so we don't get any secondary damage and get rust on the Davenport.
Now for the rest of the jobs that you're going to see, I'm not going to show you how to do all the pre-inspection burn tests. I've already done that. I'm just going to show you how to clean it.
So what's our first step? That's right, we need to remove all of the loose soil by pre-vacuuming. Our second step is to apply the upholstery pre-spray. This smells fantastic. Now let's mist and extract the entire chair with all fiber rinse. This is exactly what you do whenever you have a piece of living room furniture that is perfect. There's no stains on it, it looks brand new, and a lot of times this piece of furniture is 10 years old. Sometimes it's been handed down from their parents. And when you say to the customer, I'd like to clean that living room furniture, their jaw is going to drop because they know that nobody would ever want to touch it because it's cotton and it's going to have water stains on it. If you don't know what you're doing, they're just so afraid you're going to damage it. But can you see, with this process, there is no way you can hurt this. You want to make sure that you do use the all fiber rinse though. If you use a cleaner on the high alkalinity side, then it will yellow, it will brown out, and you're going to look like somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. But you do. So don't be afraid when you see jobs like this. And what's great about doing a chair like this is you can actually charge more because you know you don't have any competition, because all of the other carpet cleaners, when they look at that, they're not going to want to touch it. But you can. So go out there, and when the next time that you see a white cotton piece of upholstery in somebody's living room, I want you to clean it, and I want you to go onto my website at carpetcleaningtradesecrets.com, and I want you to tell me you did it. And then you'll have confidence to do it again and again and again. But look at this. We're just misting and extracting with all fiber rinse, and it's going to turn out wonderful. You could even bring in an air mover, set it on low to help with the drying process, because the real secret is to get this dry. So when you use the mist and extract and you do the pre-spray, make sure you just put a reasonable amount. You really want to do a light mist. But the secret too is that you got to make sure you cover the entire chair with this low moisture. Otherwise you will get some browning. So don't try to cut corners. Just mist and extract the entire thing, and you can use 2 to 3, maybe even 4 dry strokes if you need to. But look at how simple this is. I mean, you could do a chair like this in probably 10 minutes, and the customer is going to fall in love with you and she's going to recommend you. Now I want to give you guys a really good tip. Whenever you're out there cleaning upholstery and you come across a piece of furniture that you are absolutely intimidated by, you don't have to be, because if you use this particular process, you're going to be able to clean that upholstery. Now if you ever have an instantaneous bleeder, so make sure you're doing your color migration test, then you might run into a little trouble, but that's very rare. Most of the time, you're going to be able to have a lot of success with this exact process. Whenever you're cleaning upholstery, never forget to put your foil tabs or your foam blocks underneath the legs. And if for any reason you're not cleaning the carpet, which you should be cleaning the carpet, but if for any reason you're not, make sure that you bring your wand in and you extract any of the moisture in the carpet. And if you were cleaning the carpets, I would always clean upholstery first, obviously, because you're going to get water on the carpet. So that way you can clean it and extract it and bring your blowers in. And these are just really good tips. Another great tip is, you see that white towel that I'm using? Let's say you get to a really soiled area. The white towel is so awesome just to rub out that lignite or that soil. It attaches itself to the white towel, and make sure it's a brand new white towel. And that's a great way to get those edges, because it's really hard with your upholstery tool to get those edges sometimes. Stack your cushion and voila.
Now, when do we use that process? That's right, only when it's lightly soiled. That's it. Now, this next process that's coming up, this is when you have heavily soiled cotton upholstery or Haitian cotton or even synthetic. Then you can take it to the next level. Take a look.
Put a ½ gallon of hot water from your truck mount into a 2-gallon bucket. Then mix 4 ounces of PROCHEM fine fabric shampoo with 2 ounces of PROCHEM fiber buff. Then take 1 ounce of OxyPlus and mix it all together. Once you've done that, you want to take cold water from the home and fill it up to the 1 gallon mark. Not with foam, but with actual water, so this way you don't burn your hand when you mix it up. Now whip it. Whip it good. You're going to clean this upholstery with the foam, and this is going to turn out beautiful. Now our very first step is to pre-vacuum. We want to remove as much loose soil first before we add any moisture to this upholstery. Now this is really simple. What we're going to do is we're going to take our fine fabric shampoo mixture and we're going to apply the foam all over the entire chair with a horsehair brush. When you find any soiled areas, you want to put some elbow grease into it and agitate that area to loosen up the soil. Just think of yourself as a human washing machine. So when you get to the edges of the arms, if you see where there's a lot of dinginess or black area from the fingers and palm prints, you really want to scrub that with the horsehair brush. The horsehair brush is a very soft brush, so you're not going to damage the upholstery. Don't forget the skirting. We want to get that clean too. Sometimes there's like a line across the bottom of the skirting where the feet actually rub up against the frame. You might have to scrub that a little harder. Now let's bleed our line and extract out the fine fabric shampoo using all fiber rinse. Remember, this is a heavily soiled cotton upholstery, so you want to make sure that you're extracting thoroughly and using really good dry strokes. Just like before when we cleaned the synthetic sofa, we made sure that we did the extraction strokes in the heavily soiled areas, but we misted and extracted on the bottom, sides, and back. But keep in mind, they can also get soiled as well, so do a pre-inspection. Cotton upholstery has a reputation for browning and yellowing if it's not cleaned properly. So you want to make sure that you're hot water extracting this with an all-fiber rinse. If you used a high alkalinity cleaner on this upholstery, when it dried the next day, you would have browning issues, yellowing, lignite coming to the surface, and you could be in a really tough spot. This is why most of your carpet cleaners won't clean cotton upholstery, because they're uneducated on how to do it. But not you. You're going to have the right techniques and skills to be able to handle a situation like this. Another thing that's really important is you never want to go across the grain of the material. You want to go with the grain. If you go across it, you could tear it. Whenever you're cleaning upholstery, determine what kind of extraction flow you need, whether it be high or low. You also have an extraction valve control on your upholstery tool. Let's not forget to clean the skirting and the back of the chair. When do you use this process? That's what you might be thinking. You use it whenever the upholstery is filthy. This is the best way to deep clean it. The secret to cleaning heavily soiled upholstery is flushing out the soil with the proper chemistry and knowing which process to use. What upholstery can you use it on? You want to use it on cotton, Haitian cotton. As long as you've done your color migration test and you have no color transfer, you can use this exact process on a filthy floral pattern. Just remember, with your natural materials, you're going to want to clean more on the acid side than the alkalinity side. With the synthetic, you can clean on the alkalinity side and have no problems. But with natural materials, it's completely different. You'll get browning and yellowing, and as long as you remember that, you're not going to have any problems. Just use the right chemistry. Congratulations! You just cleaned a cotton piece of upholstery. Now you know what to do next. Stack those pillows. Now you'll notice that the skirting is really straight. You can even pin the corners so that when it dries, it'll turn out even better. Put your upholstery on foam blocks or foil tabs, and then clean the carpet. And then the customer is going to be so excited when this dries. Our first step before we get started is to always pre-vacuum first. You want to remove all the loose soil before you put any moisture on the upholstery. Whenever you come across heavily soiled dining room chairs like these, don't be afraid to use your spot cleaners to help break down those soiled areas prior to your preconditioning steps. This will give you superior results. I like to use my citrus gel, my power solvent. On this chair, I'm going to use my protein and stain spotter. Whenever you're removing any kind of stains, whether it be on upholstery or carpet, you have to be an investigator. And if you think about it, people sit in these chairs whenever they're eating, and food is made out of protein, so I'm going to have a really good chance of removing these stains by using my protein and stain spotter. Now let's go ahead and pre-spray all of the chairs. Where it's really soiled, you want to hit it really heavy, and then you want to make sure that you cover the chairs with a reasonable amount over the entire surface. This is very important. And make sure whenever you're doing this that you're going to allow for dwell time. Your chemistry is really going to help you remove those stains if you let it work for you. You can use this exact same process on floral patterns as well, as long as you test to make sure it doesn't color migrate. Now let's go ahead and wait about 10 to 15 minutes before the next step. Now we're going to take our fine fabric shampoo, our Oxy Plus, and our Fiber Buff, and our horsehair brush, and we're going to whip up the foam, and we're going to agitate all of the soil and all of the proteins and all of the stains with elbow grease, and we're going to lift that to the surface, loosen it out of the fibers so we can extract it, and it's going to turn out incredible. Whenever you're doing a job like this, get into it. Work hard. You want to cover all the areas. You want to cover the top of the surface, the edges, the sides. It's very important to get all that chemistry over the entire area because it's going to help remove all of the soil and the stains. Then when you get ready to do the extraction, it's going to turn out a lot better. Promise me you will never ever use the mist and extract approach on this because the upholstery will turn out terrible and you'll look like a crummy upholstery cleaner. You gotta use the right technique for the job. Now let's bleed our line and hot water extract at 230 degrees using all fiber deep clean or all fiber rinse. You want to make sure you're using the right cleaner through your solution line so you don't have any browning or yellowing. Now an uneducated upholstery cleaner, if he tried to clean this upholstery, it would turn out terrible. It would brown out on him, it would yellow on him. He wouldn't be able to figure it out. He'd come up with all sorts of different excuses why it happened. He'd probably blame it more on the upholstery and the customer. But not you. You're a true professional and you're using the right chemistry. The combination with the fine fabric shampoo and Oxy Plus and the Fiber Buff and using the all fiber rinse or all fiber deep clean, the combination of that chemistry when it dries, it's going to keep it from browning. It's going to keep it from yellowing. And when we get done with this, I'm going to show you one more trade secret that'll take it to the next level. The other secret to upholstery cleaning is to really deep clean it when it's filthy. You've got to flush out and remove those pollutants. You'll notice that I'm taking my time, and when I get to those stains, I'm really hitting it hard. If you want the customer to like you, and you want to make sure that you get recommended by them, you can't Mickey Mouse around. You've got to make sure that you're giving it 110% all the time. And even when they're not watching, that's the time to really make sure that you're paying attention to what you're doing. Dotting all your I's, crossing all your T's. The definition of integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. So what that means is if you want to be a man who lives by integrity, who when people think of you, they say, that guy's got integrity, you want to make sure that you're given 110% when your boss isn't watching, when the customer isn't watching. When you're done with the job, your job just needs to speak volumes about you and the quality of your work. Cutting corners is not the way to get through life. You're just leaving work for someone else. You want to make sure that you can look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I made a difference today. And cleaning upholstery is a way to make a difference. You're not going to believe how excited people are when their upholstery is clean. It's very rewarding, and you're going to get instant gratification right then and there. So be proud of cleaning upholstery and become the best upholstery cleaner you can possibly become. Now you'll notice I've been cleaning this upholstery outside. Well, it's about 80 degrees and sunny. Whenever you have the opportunity to clean your upholstery outside, you want to take advantage of that, especially with your cotton upholstery, because those UV rays are going to help with the drying process. It's going to turn out whiter, it's not going to brown out, and it's going to eliminate the yellowing. It will really take your upholstery to the next level, and your customers will be blown away. Now, if you're not able to take it outside, that's okay, because this chemistry is still going to work fantastic. It's designed to. Now, let's say, for example, you got a call back, and the customer said that there was a browning area or a yellowing area on the upholstery. Well, when you come back, you can either clean it again, or you can try another process, which would be to spray tannin or a coffee tannin product on there, wipe it down with a towel, or use a hair dryer. Or you could just try this. What I like to do as an extra measure when I get done cleaning is I like to spray coffee tannin all over my upholstery, because it's going to help with the browning and the yellowing. It's going to eliminate it. And when it's out in the sunlight, those UV rays help to make this upholstery turn out phenomenal. Even if you don't have it out in the UV rays, it's still going to turn out fantastic. So I don't want you to think you always have to take it outside. Don't miss the easy stuff. When you get finished with the job, wipe down all of the frames. Then tell the customer that you can bring the chairs in for them and put them on foil tabs if they would like you to, but you would prefer that they get a suntan. Then explain to the customer that this will help with the browning and yellowing, and if there's any stains that didn't come out, you've used a special cleaner that works with the UV rays.
I bet you're ready to go out there and clean some upholstery. Just remember these simple steps and you'll never have any problems. Do your pre-inspection first. Determine what kind of material you're cleaning. And then just remember, there's no exact science to cleaning upholstery. You may have to use all three of these techniques in one situation. You just got to be able to have the common sense to know which technique to use and which technique not to use. Just never take any shortcuts. It's very important that you give the customer a really good job when you're finished. Now, another thing that we don't think about cleaning is auto upholstery. Auto upholstery is a great add-on. And so watch for my auto upholstery DVD. I'm just going to be cleaning auto upholstery after auto upholstery and show you all different types. But I got a little sample right here, so take a look.
Let's pre-vacuum and remove any of the loose soil. Bleed your line to the hottest temperature your truck mount can provide, and then just start cleaning. If you want to use an upholstery pre-spray, you can. But I just love cleaning auto upholstery because it's synthetic, it's bulletproof, you can just hit it. The secret to cleaning auto upholstery is in the areas that aren't as soiled, you can go a little bit quicker. The areas that are really heavily soiled, take your time and flush out the soil and those pollutants. You're not going to hurt it. It's going to turn out great, and the customer is really going to appreciate it. And you really want to use that whenever you're cleaning any kind of upholstery, because you want to make sure that the areas that are heavily soiled, that you remove that so the customer can feel like they really got what they paid for. Whenever I'm doing any work like carpet cleaning or upholstery cleaning, it really doesn't matter. I just pretend like it's mine, like I'm cleaning it for myself or I'm cleaning it for my mother. If you were going to clean your mother's sofa or your mother's vehicle, you would do a great job, wouldn't you? So you just want to clean your customers the same way. And I even say that to my customers. I'm going to clean your car just like I clean my mother's, or I'm going to clean your carpet just like I clean my mother's. It makes them feel great, and they can really believe that I'm going to do a great job. So make sure that you do. Otherwise, they're going to think you don't like your mother. Now, you might ask yourself, why would I be cleaning the upholstery in my van? Well, because you've got to be a product of your product. If you don't have clean upholstery, why would your customer want to have clean upholstery? If you don't have clean carpet, why would your customer want to have clean carpet? So if you've got filthy, nasty carpet, you better go clean your carpet. Ask your boss if you can take home the machine because you want to be a product of the product. And you know what? When I go to my next customer's house, I'm going to be excited to clean their upholstery because I'm going to be like, I just cleaned the upholstery in my van. It looks brand new. It feels so good. Oh, it was so dirty before. You know, do you have any upholstery in any of your cars that you want me to clean? Because I'm excited and ready to go. You don't want to miss out on these easy add-ons because these are a piece of cake. They make good money. The customer is really impressed that you want to work that hard, and your company is really going to profit from it. The bottom line is, if you do a great job out there, you're going to win, the customer's going to win, and your company's going to win. There's just no lose-lose. You always want to be doing a win-win. And you just want to make sure that whenever you're doing something, you give it your all, 110% all the time. And tell your customer that's what you're going to give them. Go, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to give your car 110% if you let me clean it. And guess what? She's going to hand you the keys. It's just an easy add-on, so don't miss out on these. So when I get done with my van here, I'm going to show you a customer's upholstery that I cleaned in his truck so you can see a really good before and after. And you know what? Take my word for it. Clean your upholstery in your own cars, be a product of the product, and it'll be very profitable for you in the future. This is my customer's truck, and I cleaned it the same way that I cleaned my van. The only difference is that they have carpet on the floor. I mean, look at that. That's the before. That's disgusting. On the other side is the after. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'm going to give you another angle in just a second. Whenever you're cleaning upholstery, you want to just clean all the cleanable areas. If they got carpet on the sides of the doors, clean that. If they got car mats, you want to clean those. You want to use any of your spot cleaners that you can to get any of the grease or oil out. And you just want to make sure that when you get done, the customer is just blown away. Now here is the after, and on the other side is the before, and you're going to get a really good view here in a second. There is the after, and there's the before. Look at that. Isn't that disgusting? Now you can see a dirt line on the seat here. I mean, look at that. I really made a difference. He threw a chair out, an office chair, and asked me if I could clean that, and of course I can. It's just like auto upholstery. So there's a good before and after on that chair. I mean, that was a really dirty chair. So you don't want to miss out on these easy add-ons. Office chairs, upholstery. You just want to clean anything you can get your hands on.
Now the next time that you're out there cleaning carpet and you see furniture in the family room or living room, I want you to get those add-ons. Do the white towel test. Show the customer why they need to get their upholstery clean. And then log on to my website at carpetcleaningtradesecrets.com. Go to the products page, and I've got a testimonials box because I want to hear your stories. Tell me what you're doing out there. The other thing is you can get my upholstery cleaning DVD part 2. I'm going to show you how to clean microfibers, silk. You're going to be able to clean any kind of velvet weave. There's not going to be a piece of upholstery out there that you can't handle. I just want you to start off real simple with part 1. The other thing you got to promise me is that you're going to go get certified by the IICRC in upholstery cleaning. That will help you go to the next level. Now remember this, winners never quit and quitters never win. So go out there and make me proud.